Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, May 30th, 2018. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Able seaman Desron Dick of the SVG Coast Guard brushed aside the competition to emerge winner of the 2018 police debate competition held at the Calico Town Hall last evening. The debate featured 6 competitors from different divisions of the SVG police force, presenting on the topic, should marijuana be decriminalized for medicinal and recreational use in SVG? Able Simon Dick received 300 overall points to take the top spot. Police Constable Mose Cummins of the Western Division placed second with 291 points, while Police Constable Edson Smith of the Central Division took the third spot with 258 points. Commissioner of Police Colin John said the debate competition, which forms part of activities to mark Police Week, presented the perfect opportunity for the lawmen to sharpen their debating skills.
Seen from time to time where police officers have gone to court and the evidence that they give fell well below the standards of competent police officers. So this exercise is a practical exercise, and this exercise is one that can help to enhance the skills and, yes, the knowledge of the police officers. Because the persons debating here, they are expected to research the topic so that they can present their argument in a convincing manner with sufficient facts to back up whatever statement they are making.
Here is a highlight from the top 3 debaters in last evening's competition.
Ask the listening audience, do you really think SVG is ready for this? What guarantee do we have that a seriously addictive drug could be regulated? After all, simple regulations on tobacco and alcohol products prove to be nearly impossible to impose. Take this into consideration. Once marijuana is decriminalized, the chances of it being effectively regulated are nearly impossible. We cannot jeopardize the general welfare of our people. Decriminalizing marijuana would make it more acceptable, accessible, and preferable, causing an increase in the number of users of this drug and giving rise to substance abuse.
Here is the biggest reason why even cops are starting to say, legalize it. While marijuana is a relatively harmless drug, the black market associated with it can cause significant harm. Much like the prohibition of alcohol, marijuana's illegality does not erase the profit incentive. Instead, it establishes a risky, unregulated market in which violence and intimidation are used to settle disputes. For example, when the prohibition of alcohol was ended, Al Capone was out of business the next day.
A wealth of evidence also exists in relation to marijuana's efficiency in combating illnesses such as cancer, depression, regulating seizures and diabetes, as well as reducing eye pressure and fighting asthma. Famous reggae artist, Mr. Richie Spice, must have been a doctor sent from the future when he came to sing his song, and I quote the lyrics, "Marijuana on the corner, it's the healing of the nation, but you never know, it's the healing of the nation."
As persons continue to comment on the environmental impact of sand mining, the GEMS Community Organization has added its voice to the debate. Its climate change advisor, Andrew Simmons, welcomed the government's decision to stop sand mining at Diamond, but expressed dissatisfaction with the shifting of operation to another beach location, pointing to GEMS 25 5-year-long campaign for the government to stop sand mining at Diamond and Brighton beaches. Simmons said the move to continue sand mining at the Drip Beach in the North Windward area is not good news. He noted that the entire North Windward, a coastal area, is fragile to the harsh impacts of climate change, which could destroy ecosystems and the country's well-being. The climate change advisor added that his PhD research was based on the exposure of the Georgetown Rabuka area to 6 of the elements of climate change and calamities, including earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. He referred to a GIS mapping produced from this research that showed images of the parts of the area being flooded out in the future due to natural disasters, resulting in loss of lives, livelihoods, and infrastructure. Simmons said he welcomed the decision of the government to start harvesting sand from the Rabuka River, but opening a beach sand mining site at Drip is the same to shifting the problem from one area, Diamond and Brighton, to another, rather than trying to find real solutions to the problem. And environmental activist Louise Mitchell has called for the government to be more public about the incentives it intends to offer persons willing to invest in the importation of sand. This follows the announcement by Transport and Works Minister Julian Francis last Tuesday that the government was seriously considering importing sand for use in the construction sector, and that 2 private sector entities had expressed interest in the venture. Mitchell told SVG-TV News that the government should see sand importation as a viable alternative to beach sand mining, but it requires them to be more open.
Drip now is not something that I could support, but at the same time I understand that there is the need for the public to have access to sand. So I think the government should do more about possibly mining sand locally, quarry sand, and also in terms of offering incentives to businesses to import sand. I mean, that's absolutely critical. The government effectively closed down a business by taxing it too much. We had an excellent sand importation business here, and it was shut down. So I would like to hear up front, not just that they'll offer concessions, but say up front, we're not going to charge you customs duties, we're not going to charge you port security charges. Say what the concessions are going to be, because at the end of the day, if we can import sand, then we have a cheaper an option that is available to the public. If they get into this business, this is exactly the slate of concessions that they would be given, that they don't have to come in and then worry about what is going to be granted, what isn't.
Mitchell urged the public to support the government should it move towards commencing sand importation.
When it's imported, it may be too expensive for locals to purchase, especially when they've been accustomed to buying the salty beach sand and using that for years. So during the interim, while they transition and get used to the different prices, the government should probably subsidize it as well. I think Vincentians need to give support to the government's decision to ban sand mining from beaches, and also to ensure that individuals do not continue to go and to take sand from the beaches themselves, because again, in the short term it may help them to build a house or a wall, but then it's simply going to corrode the steel and the wall is going to fall down in no time. So beach sand is not a viable sand to build a house with.
Holding firm to the belief that disability is not inability, a mother with a visually impaired child is on a mission to advocate for inclusiveness with the support of members of the newly formed organization, Voice of the Disabled. We hear more about her story in this report. Yolanda Grant is the Public Relations Officer of the Voice of the Disabled organization, incorporated on October 22, 2016. The organization was formed to give further support to persons with a disability, including parents and family members. Grant, who is a mother of a visually impaired child, explained to us how she started her advocacy for the disabled. She said in 2014 she gave birth to a premature baby girl, and 4 months later she learned that the retina in both eyes of her daughter were detached, meaning she could not see. The mother said passionately that she was floored by her daughter's diagnosis, and she immediately sprang into action to find a way to help cope with this reality.
I remember one doctor said to me, well, why don't you see the School for Children with Special Needs? But that's not all of it, because as a parent and as a young parent, you're wondering so many things. What do we have in St. Vincent? Where do I start? And my starting point was on the internet, because at that time I didn't know of Voice of the Disabled, which was already started. So I started researching out of St. Vincent and started sending out emails. And I was fortunate enough that I got a response one day from Susan Lavinja from America, when she called and she said, I have a son. He is visually impaired. He's a doctor. So let's work together.
Fighting back tears, Grant said her telephone conversation with the representative of the International Council for the Education of People with Visual Impairment lasted for about an hour, and she was happy to know that she was not alone in her situation. She believes it is time society re-examines how it looks at people with disabilities and understand their needs.
You know, my daughter was an early talker and a late walker. And at 8 months, my daughter started to talk. By a year, she started to sing. And there's no word you would call that she is not able to pronounce the same way as you would. And when I saw the potential of my daughter, I said to myself, no way am I gonna left my daughter as other parents in St. Vincent are doing, or as society has it, that these children should be locked away in a room, not going to school. Immediately, I went to the Ministry of Education, because from visiting School for Children with Special Needs in Georgetown, which I did, and seeing what they have available, which is not enough as far as I'm concerned. It is not enough. And listening, when I'm ready for, when at the point of faith, ready to start preschool, that was a struggle.
At a national level, Grant is advocating for greater inclusion of children with disabilities, specifically so in education.
My daughter, if she comes in this room, her first thing, I must know this room. The children, they do the same, they go around the same way, they just need a chance. And I'm begging our government to give our children a chance. Our children who are visually impaired, generally speaking, the children who are differently able, give them a chance. Society needs to see what these children can do. They have a lot. They're very talented. And they just need a chance. They need to be a part of society. My daughter is in preschool, and her other peers, they're helping her, assisting her. And the funny thing about it is that the children are adapting to the difference. It's the adults that are not understanding that the importance of adopting and working along with these children.
As for her organization, the Voice of the Disabled, and the change they are hoping to make in the society, Grant said the organization must be recognized as a major support system for persons with disabilities.
We can offer training to the parent, because the parents need to be trained, number one, because it is difficult to undergo with children that are differently abled. The parents need to be trained. We need this organization to be an organization that would not only train parents, but help the Ministry of Education and help the Ministry of Health as well, because they too need help. So we're going to be an organization that stands out, that is there, that parents, society can call upon, because we are equipped and we need the help of everyone. And I'm begging the parents, it's time enough that they stop lock these children away. Because when these parents passed on, these children are left to fend for themselves. So you're going to leave these children locked up in the home, being hungry, not able to go out there and learn a skill? Come on, that's not what God created them for.
Rochelle Batiste, The Evening News. And the staff and students of the School for Children with Special Needs will put on a big showcase tomorrow as part of the school's Literacy Week of activities. The school is using the theme Drive into Fairyland to give their students the opportunity to broaden their skills and expose them to a variety of experiences. Teacher Francis Bilinji said tomorrow's showcase is one that the public should support, as the students will act out what are their impressions of stories they have read or have been read to them.
Each class will be dressed in their costumes and they'll be doing their fairy tale. So each class would have, they had a fairy tale before. For example, one class had the Little Red Hen, my class had Rapunzel, and our children are going to perform on the back porch. So we are inviting all of you to come out and witness this grand presentation. You will see students of different abilities. They will be doing all sorts of things. Some will be doing miming, some will be doing dramatizing. It will be really, really great. So you need to come out and see it. Now, we have fairy, as I said, fairyland. If you come to the front of our school, you will notice there is a bus, a big yellow bus, and there are children in that bus. So they are coming to fairyland. So you also need to come and take that journey. And we'll have something special for you on that back porch. So if you think that what you would have seen was something nice, then you will see something even spectacular when we are doing the grand presentation. So please don't forget to come out and support us. Come out and see what we at the School for Children with Special Needs have to offer.
Welcome back. And in Carnival Beat this evening, we heard that a concerned Calypsonian is critical of the National Lotteries Authority for not providing more support to Calypsonians who wish to produce music. Francis Myers, known in Calypso circles as Sir D, told SVG-TV News today that his attempts to obtain financial support from the National Lotteries Authority to release music for the 2018 Calypso season proved futile. Myers claims that his frustration is shared with fellow Calypso artists whose cost of producing and releasing music is very high.
They run around, come back this and come back that. I met a young lady, young Calypsonian, doing her the same thing. Come back and come back a whole set of, it's either say yes or no, whatever, but they're playing games.
Yeah, you think they're not doing enough to help?
They're not doing enough. They're not doing enough because it's a lucrative business. Everybody playing, playing lotto, and they're not doing enough. They're not doing enough. Like they don't intend to do enough. Well, I will tell you, National Lottery, they must keep up to the arrangement that they are putting money into sport and culture, right? Just live up to that commitment, that agreement. And, well, the public, the people who are doing the walkabout, I encourage them to keep on. Because I'm a pretty old man now, I'm 74, but I'm not giving up. I'm still a force to reckon with.
Meanwhile, the Product Development Officer of the National Lotteries Authority, Anthony Denny, said the NLA does not provide financial support to individual Calypsonians, but injects some $1.5 million into Carnival through the Carnival Development Corporation, which determines how the money is dispersed.
Every year we make almost $1.5 million available to the Carnival Development Corporation. And out of that, all the Calypso tents get support in terms of startup monies, payment applied to the mass tents and quite naturally to the steel bands. And, you know, that is quite naturally a very good injection that is made to Carnival on an annual basis, complements the National Lotteries Authority. Right? Exactly. We don't really have an individual policy as per se. You know, if the need arises, and it depends, one of the important things too is that, you know, we have an idea as to what is the content of the song and things of that nature, and that is something that we really don't want to get into, and it's the reason why we channel all of our funds through the Carnival Development Corporation.
Okay, so you don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of this song, so just...
The 2017 North Leeward Soca Monarch, Janelle Lola Alexander, was dethroned last Friday by Alpha Phase Alec at the 2018 staging of the North Leeward Soca Monarch competition at the Beachfront Restaurant and Bar in Fitzroy. The closely contested event organized by the North Leeward Sports and Carnival Committee saw some 13 artists taking part. Known for its energetic and entertaining performance, the large crowd did not disappoint as they provided enthusiastic support to their favorite artist. When the smoke cleared, it was Alpha Phase Alec with his rendition of After That that gained the judges' nod and was crowned the 2018 North Leeward Soca Monarch. Though many patrons were surprised by the announcement, Phase and his team were elated and celebrated nonetheless. Antonio Tweets Ellis with his 2018 single Can't Tired placed second, while last year's winner Janelle Lola Alexander had to settle for third place with her song Tornado. There was a tie for fourth place between rising soca sensation John Roy Matkin Haywood with his soca song Mad King and Azaki Daddy Edwards, who perform No Nonsense. The North Leeward Rural Carnival is set to culminate next weekend with the All Leeward pageant on Friday, June 88 at the Petit Bedell Hard Court, followed by the Juve and Street Jump Up on June 9th. 7 young ladies have their sights set on the title of Miss SVG 2018, which is up for grabs this Saturday. As the countdown gets closer, the contestants are tying up loose ends for their presentation, which they all have promised will be exceptional. We now present the second feature in this series on the contestants.
Its feature, we speak with 2 contestants who have entered the pageant with hopes of being given the opportunity to pursue higher education. They are Mauricia Williams, Miss Massey Stores Limited, and Azani Lavia, Miss Geku. Chateaubelair resident Mauricia Williams is seeing the Miss SVG pageant not only as an opportunity of obtaining a scholarship, but is also elated at being able to advocate for a social issue.
It serves as a training ground for women to introduce different advocacies and social issues. So for me, I get the opportunity to pursue my career goal with the scholarship, and I also get a platform to bring awareness to a social issue that may otherwise have never been addressed. For these reasons, entering this pageant is of great importance. To empower people that everyone has special talents, and instead of doubting yourselves, you should find your strengths and use them to benefit you and those around you.
Williams said that her journey thus far has definitely been an experience.
A full experience, but a lot of work. But this was expected, so I'm getting along pretty fine. I'm a very self-driven and determined person, and I believe that if you want to accomplish something, you have to go for it, you know, and that is what inspired me. And mainly because of the scholarship too, I'm just about to finish school, and I want the best for my future.
As she gets closer to pageant night, the first ever representative for the Massey Stores brand said she is ready to bring on the heat.
I'm pushing at all the categories. I'm coming with the best and a little extra. That my shatter party is coming out to support me on June 2nd. I just want to encourage all of you to come out. June 2nd, Carnival City is the place to be, where you will see a revelation of an epic package from Miss Massey Stores and the fellow delegates.
We now travel to Owia in North Windward, where we meet Azani Lavia, Miss Geku. Azani, who also is the first contestant to represent new sponsors Geku, said her experience has been one she will never forget.
I was unable to complete my studies because of funds, and I know that Miss SVG offers a scholarship to go and study, and that was my gateway. It's easy days. There are days when I'm like, oh, this is easy breezy, nothing too much to handle, and then there are days I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? Why did I sign up for this? But relatively, it's been a good experience so far. I'm enjoying it. I'm learning new things. I love the girls. They're very inviting. The beauty shows committee, they're very supportive.
Having lost her mother to cervical cancer some 2 years ago, Lavia said her team chosen for the 2018 Shenton Coffee Farms Empowerment Campaign surely hits home.
Not only cervical cancer, all cancer, but it's just that I relate well with cervical cancer and the dangers it causes, because I experienced firsthand with my mother. I saw her go through the mental changes, the physical changes. So I wanted to make persons aware of how detrimental it can be to the victim, to the patient itself, but the family as well.
Lavia took the opportunity to thank her supporters and invited the public to the 2018 pageant.
My confidence shows in my walk, and you know, courage carries a lot of points, so that will be my stronghold. Also, I'm not to brag, but I'm a good speaker, so I'm handling the interview well. Victoria Park is the place to be on June 2nd. Come witness a night of brilliance and difference. Look at me, difference. I want to thank the community of Owia, Fancy, well, the entire North Windward community for their support thus far. I truly appreciate it. The entire country of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, come out to Victoria Park. You don't want to miss it.
Under the team Women Who Empower, the Miss SVG 2018 pageant should be an experience worth witnessing. Nikita Tony reporting for a Carnival Beat.
And to continue Carnival Beat this evening, we heard at the 2018 SVG Association of Music Professional AMP Awards has been postponed. The association said in a release today that the event, which was slated for tonight, Wednesday, May 30th, at the Peace Memorial Hall, will now be held on June 20th to accommodate the Upstage Calypso 10's Grand Showcase at the Russell's Auditorium. The AMP Awards, which will recognize individuals for their contribution to the development of music, will see artists, producers, songwriters, and musicians being awarded in some 17 categories. The organization said it regrets the postponement, but is promising patrons a great experience at this year's awards ceremony.